Hi, I'm Ellie with Golden Paintworks. Today, we're going to be featuring all of our Golden Paintworks decorative products, and we're going to jump right in, featuring metallic paint. Our metallic paints come in 4 bases and 28 factory tinted colors. These are suitable for wall applications, trim, and furniture projects. Today, I'll be using Accent, which is one of the new colors in our expanded metallic palette. For my application, I'm using a 3/8" microfiber roller. As you can see, I'm holding up the metallic paint board to show the different angles of reflectance. Be intentional about laying them down in the same direction to achieve a uniform reflectance. The next product I'm going to demonstrate is Venetian Plaster. I'm showing here a finished board which has 3 coats of Venetian Plaster. As you see, it can be burnished to achieve an almost mirror-like polish. Our Venetian Plaster is tintable to 20 different colors. I'm using the color White Smoke. Your first coat of Venetian Plaster is applied relatively thin with minimal texture. If applied too thickly, the texture will crack. Our darkest shade is Weathered Zinc, a deep gray. This next board has 2 coats applied. I'll apply a 3rd coat here. What I am aiming for is a thin layer that will dry relatively quickly so I can polish it. The plaster is beginning to set up and is ready for burnishing. Use the beveled edge of the blade to make contact with the surface. The blade must be perfectly clean to avoid putting any divots and additional marks in the final layer. Apply firm pressure with a circular motion to polish the Venetian Plaster surface. I'll hold it up here to show my progress. As you can see, it's quite shiny. If you need a plaster to achieve darker shades, we recommend trying Soapstone. For today's demonstration, I'm using Soapstone tinted to Celestial Blue. Soapstone tints to 20 medium and deep colors, achieving rich color spaces. This texture in its wet state has a creamy feeling and is smooth to apply. I'm applying this in a way to achieve minimal texture. However, this is a great product to try using through a stencil. It won't crack, making it a great alternative to Venetian Plaster, if you wanted a more textural surface. Here's a completed board of soapstone. You see, this soapstone has metallic paint traveled over the surface. In the grooves of the surface, you see deposits of copper paint. Next, I'm going to demonstrate metallic texture. Metallic texture comes in both gold and pearl bases, tintable to 20 colors. Today, I'll be using metallic texture in pearl base tinted to French gold. I'm showing here the tinted pearl base on the right, and gold on the left. Here is the product in its wet state, smooth with a whipped-like texture. I have a board prepared with 1 coat of metallic texture. I am applying a 2nd coat pretty tightly over the subsequent layer. As you can see, that thin layer application catches the light and sparkles. 3 coats delivers the optimal result, complete coverage and a beautiful luster when dry. Next, I'll be demonstrating a product called Sandstone. The finished board shows 2 colors applied with a wet blend technique. Sandstone looks light gray as is. This texture also comes in 10 different tints. The board I'm working on here has 1 smooth layer of sandstone. To create the 2-tone technique, I'll start with sandstone tinted to slate. Now that I've applied enough to give a decent level of coverage, I'm going to take the lighter untinted sandstone and blend it in for contrast. I only need a small amount of product to create a few patches. Using a mister bottle, I dampen the surface with a little bit of water and then smooth this out. I'm creating a faux cement look that when dry will have a very matte sheen and a subtle texture. The next product I'm working with is Weathered Granite. Weathered Granite is a very thick product. This texture is characterized by its grittier body and crushable aggregate. While very dense, this product can be thinned down with a little bit of water to make it easier to trowel apply. I'm applying a 2nd coat of Weathered Granite. What you see as I apply pressure to the trowel during application is a subtle color shift. I'll try to augment that visual by crushing an aggregate within the texture, as this brings warmth and organic variation to the overall finish. Here are a few other examples of weathered granite. Here's an example of a thick application of weathered granite that has been painted, then glazed. There are a variety of creative looks which range from the subtle to unexpected. Here's an example of weathered granite with glass bead and glitter applied over the top. Speaking of glass bead, we're moving on to talk about a couple of products that work very well together with our glass bead gel. On this board, I applied a layer of glass bead undercoat and then metallic paint. We recommend these two products together as a preparation for the application of glass beads. To demonstrate, today I will show both the glass bead gel and the glass bead XL so you can see the difference in the size of the beads. Glass bead texture is as simple as this: glass spheres dispersed in a gel. Because of the shape of these glass spheres, the glass bead undercoat will serve as a gritty surface in which these glass beads can sit into so that they do not roll as you apply them on the surface. The glass bead undercoat makes the application of a uniform layer of glass beads easy. For best results, you want a single layer of glass beads. Multiple glass beads on top of each other will cause a cloudy white appearance in your final look. Let's move on to the glass bead XL. The last products I'm going to demonstrate today are glazing mediums and glazing gel. Both of these are great to add paint to or to mix with metallic paint to apply over smooth and textured finishes. Both extend working time and dry to a satin sheen, yet they have a couple of key differences. Glazing medium is pourable, fluid in viscosity, but has a little bit of body. By contrast, sheer glazing medium is just a little bit thinner with a lower viscosity. In practical use, expect the glazing medium to hold a small amount of brush texture, where the sheer glazing medium would be better for reducing texture. It's great for reducing lap lines. This sample board is a great example of the difference between glazing mediums and glazing gel. Glazing gel, unlike the glazing mediums, will dry to a glossy sheen. Glazing gel is a pretty stiff gel. In this example, I am mixing it with metallic paint. Next, I apply the tinted glazing gel over the surface of a prepared soapstone board. The glazing gel sits in the crevices that I've left deliberately as texture in the board. When this dries, this will be very shiny and metallic and will give the flat soapstone now a glossy finish with metallic shine. Here's a few more examples of glazing gel. And that's a wrap. Thanks for watching. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out via email or phone.